Good evening and happy Wednesday, y'all. We are live here in the Walk in Power podcast studio. Welcome to another episode on the Walk in Power podcast. If you are new here, welcome to the community. Welcome to a community of enlightened women, of women who are growing and evolving, who are leading in many spaces. I love this opportunity to connect with you, to talk with you about my real life experiences, but to also bring other women along on this journey to share their real life experiences in leadership and just life as a whole and how everything contributes to the woman they are today and the woman they are becoming. So I'm really excited to be here this evening, as I am every evening. The past 3 weeks, I have been here with Coach Cola, and I gave her a break tonight. But you know what? It is just so nice and such a blessing to be able to call on a sister and say, "Hey, sis, would you join me?" And just to be graced, right, with their presence, but also with the joy of being present, right? It never feels like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, I'll let you know. It's always, of course. And I value having people in my life who really want to support me and really want to see me win. And that includes all of you who tune in and all of those who will be tuning in, all of those who have not yet been blessed with the Walk in Power podcast, but I know they are coming because you are going to share these episodes. You're going to tell your people about the Walk in Power podcast. You're going to invite them to be a part of the conversation. And because of that, I am grateful for you. So I'm super excited. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I really try to keep the shows short. But it can be so challenging when you are having a great conversation with the person who is joining you on the show, but also with the people in the audience, right? Who are tuning in, who are asking questions, who are giving comments, all the good stuff. So that can cause it to go a little longer, but I do respect your time, and I know that a lot of us are usually getting ready for bed soon after 8 p.m. I usually am too. I also know that a lot of us have families, so a later time is the best time for me to do the show once our kids are down and we just have a moment to ourselves. And you can tune in from anywhere, from your bed, from your couch, from your car, from your phone, from your TV, from your laptop. So, if this is something that you feel like feeds you, then why not get fed before you go to bed, right? I'm definitely fed when I show up here in the evening every Wednesday. I have been here every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. and that has been a serious commitment for me. And I'm proud of myself. I'm gonna say that. I am proud of myself because usually around this time, my body starts shutting down and letting me know, like, sister, it's bedtime. You know what's up. It's bedtime. So I'm proud of myself for making this commitment and being consistent. And consistency is one of my values. So showing up here allows me to honor my value of consistency, but also my value of commitment. So for that, I am proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for being in this space. I'm proud of myself for just being open and happy and willing and joyful to share my life with you and to share my life experiences with you. And again, to bring others along to share their life and their life experiences with you also. So tonight, episode, we are talking about beyond comfort. And I am going to share three of the top lessons I learned about growth from preparing and delivering my TEDx talk. And I'm gonna be honest with you. There were way more than 3 lessons. Okay. So it was really challenging for me to narrow it down to 3 lessons. But because I value and respect your time, and I know most of us have a short attention span, I want to be respectful. So thank you to everyone who is joining in, who is tuning in and being a part of the conversation tonight. Please feel free to drop your name in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us get to know you. If you have a business, drop the name of your business in the comments because we want to know. We want to know who we're talking to tonight. So I'm gonna jump right in because it's bedtime soon, right? And let me tell y'all something. I've been with my granddaughter most of the day. I literally just dropped her off at home before getting started for the show this evening. And she kind of, sucked some of my energy out. Okay. The girl got energy. She does not rest. When she's with me, she needs me to play, and she makes up all these games that I have to play with her that I have never heard of because they come from her imagination. But I roll with it, working on being a good grandma. I'm shifting, and don't judge me, but I'm shifting from being a FaceTime grandma to being a more hands-on, in-person grandma. But your girl is busy. I'm kind of young. I don't know why my son made me a grandma so early in life, but I'm busy. I can't do the things most grandmas do, and I don't feel no way about it. But anyways, so diving in, one of the things that really brought this topic to life for me is really thinking about how much we struggle with doing hard things. And I see a lot of people who are in my life who are really struggling because they don't want to do hard things. And the reality is, I don't want to do hard things either. And honestly, most people don't want to do hard things, right? Like if things could just be easy breezy, everything that we go after, every goal we set for ourselves, every vision we see for our lives, if it was just easy, we'll probably be like, all right, that's nothing. But the truth is, anything worth having is definitely worth fighting for, right? Is worth putting in that grit, that time, that energy, the sweat, the tears. It's worth it, right? But it doesn't take away from the fact that it just feels like, "Ugh." And that's how I felt while preparing for this TED Talk. Okay. And I like to think that I've experienced a lot of challenges in my life. And part of me felt like my greatest challenges were behind me. I'm going to be honest. I felt like all of the things that I've experienced in life, from, struggling with teen pregnancy to struggling with domestic violence, and these things were just really hard things. And but I would say they were hard things, but there was blessings in everything, right? But just going through college, working at jobs that I hated, but knowing I had to put food on the table, unhealthy relationships, just all type breakups, all the things, right? I felt like, you know what? From the way that I've grown, and those challenges have contributed to my growth, have contributed to my resilience, have contributed to my wisdom. And I felt like, yes, I needed those things to be the woman I am today. And I thank you for them, right? And part of me felt like the hardest challenges, the greatest challenges are behind me, until I was challenged with a TED Talk. Now, I'm going to be honest. When I applied for TED, it was like there was so much excitement and fire inside of me to apply for this opportunity. I applied for it last year. I got through the first round and I didn't make it to the second round. Then I applied this year. And of course, my thing was, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. There's uncertainty. Nothing's guaranteed. So I applied, I put it to the side and didn't think about it again. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't share with anybody because I didn't want to set myself up for disappointment. And even though I didn't tell anyone, people kept asking me, "Did you apply for TED? Did you see that TED is coming again? Did you apply?" And I had to tell some lies. Sorry, guys. I told lies so that I can stay in my peace. So I said, "Yeah, I heard about it. I'm thinking about applying for it." Whole time I already applied. And it wasn't about not wanting to be honest, but it was about honestly not wanting to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about the application process. I didn't want to talk about how eager I was or how excited I was at the possibility of doing a text. And here's what I sent in, and here's what I just wanted to apply and then let God do whatever He's going to do. And I felt that it was best for me to be graceful and just stay quiet about it. So I didn't share that I applied for it. You know what's crazy is that I saw so many people posting on social media that, "Hey, I just applied for TEDx. I'm hoping I get it." And I don't do me like that, sis. All right. Well, I hope I get it. And I'm looking like, man, y'all look good because I am not. I don't want to. Here's the other thing I think about. Not everybody is rooting for you. Not everybody wants to see you win, right? Not everyone who is standing next to you is standing for you, right? Some people are just there just to see what's going to happen, just to see if you're going to win, just to maybe feel good about if you don't win so that they can boost their own ego and confidence. And I know that. I've experienced a lot of backstabbing and haters in my life. Even now, as a grown woman, I've seen people who I feel in my heart are truly not for me. And so I don't want to put my energy out there and put all of my big dreams and desires and vision out on social media for someone else to pour their negativity over it even if I don't know. So I rather hold on to the things that I'm dreaming about sometimes until they come to life. And then I'm willing to share what that journey was like for me, right? I kind of digressed. That's not where I was going with this. But so I didn't talk about it. And once I got, the first confirmation of, "Hey, you've been accepted into the first rounds," I was like, "Okay, I've been here before, right?" I got accepted into first rounds last year. So I know what it's like to get accepted into first round. So I'm gonna go through the motions. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do. And hopefully I get accepted to the second round because getting accepted to first round it doesn't mean you're in, right? And again, I saw others who got accepted into the first round talking about it on social media. I got accepted into the first round, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I still didn't tell anybody. But was when I got accepted into that second round, man, can I tell you, when I got the email that I'm going to do a TED Talk, I stared at the screen for a long time. And as I'm staring at the screen, I immediately felt streams of tears just flowing down my face. I was in shock. I was in shock. Um, I'm be honest with you. When I saw the email from Ted, I was like, my heart started racing. I got hot, and I was like, God, I didn't want to open it. I did not want to open that email, but I said, girl, don't be scared. So I opened that email, and when they said, you have been accepted as a TEDx speaker, I knew that was God. I knew that was God. And I was so excited, and I still didn't tell anybody because guess what? Now they told me you can't tell anyone. So first I swore myself to secrecy, and then the TEDx team swore me to secrecy. So I really couldn't share that I was going to tell. So I had to hold all of this in. And the only person I really told was my boyfriend because he's not going to tell anybody. He really doesn't know anybody out here. But I know I couldn't tell my mama or my friends because, they're going to be like, girl, did you? So I knew who I could tell. And I definitely couldn't just hold it in all by myself. So sharing it with him was great because he's very supportive. But once all of that passed, and I was like, okay, I'm about to do a TED Talk. I talk regularly. I talk regularly. I speak on stages regularly. So this is not gonna be a big deal for me. Easy peasy. Now I just have to get in alignment with tightening up this talk, thinking about what this talk is going to be like, how I'm going to deliver it, who I'm delivering it to, what are the results I want from it, thinking about, all the things. In my mind, this was another speaking engagement. I got this, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Honey, until I began the coaching experience with the TEDx team, I knew I was in for a challenge. Honey, this is not just any old challenge. And I'm telling you right now, when you apply for a TEDx speaking opportunity, it is bravery. It takes courage to apply and go through. It takes a whole lot of courage. It takes a whole lot of commitment and determination, right? It requires a lot, and it also takes a whole lot of self-esteem. I'm telling you because what I experienced, and not that the coaches were so tough. No, they set the bar high. They set the bar very high for the experience that they were bringing to our city, for the experience that they were bringing to Roxbury. The bar was set high. They didn't come to play games. And when they set the bar high for us, it automatically made you set the bar high for yourself. And the bar has already been set high for me, but this experience made me set the bar even higher for myself. So I began putting a lot more pressure on myself for showing up and committing to writing this story, committing to sharing this story, not just getting on this stage and talking, but sharing this story in a compelling way, in a way that would connect with the audience, in a way that would move the audience. And that, my dear, took grit. Okay? It took grit. And the way I was stretched, I thought I was a speaker before TEDx. I thought I was a speaker. Before TEDx, I thought, wow, I'm an incredible speaker. And I always heard people say, wow, you're an incredible speaker. I love the way you speak. I love what you speak on. Doing this TEDx preparation, I was like, I ain't no speaker. I ain't no speaker. But the greatest challenge was also that I had 10 minutes to deliver a life changing talk, a transformational talk, a deep talk. I've never given a talk for 10 minutes. I've never done anything under 20 minutes, to be honest with you. So that was one of the greatest challenges is how do I take all of these great ideas I have and wrap it up into a 10-minute talk. And if any of you are speakers out there, you may be able to relate to what I'm sharing, that doing something in 10 minutes or less, it can be very challenging, especially if you have so much that you want to share and so much that you want to get out. But Ted taught me that less is best, right? Like, if you can get your point across to people in a short amount of time, you're doing your thing, right? And kind of like what I spoke about earlier, we have short attention spans. And so sometimes people struggle to listen to 25, 30-minute speeches. I know I have, for sure, especially if it's not an engaging discussion, something that really has me like, yeah, word. Are you talking to me? I feel like that person is talking to me. So if you're not feeling that in someone's talk, if you're not feeling connected to the talk, it's easy to just start thinking about, what am I going to cook for dinner tomorrow? Oh, I got to do laundry, right? It's easy for your mind to stray. And so I had to really be on point with the 10 minutes I was allotted. And I was struggling. I'm going to be totally honest, right? Yes. Girl, 3 minutes. 3 minutes, right? Like, so that is, look at that, right? So Regina is saying that she remembers doing a pitch competition and having 3 minutes. I remember when I did a pitch competition and they told me to get my point across in 3 minutes. I was like, what am I gonna tell you in 3 minutes? And you want data, you want information on the audience I'm serving, you want information on how I've already served them and what my outcomes. I mean, Lord, right? Like, it's challenging. But it's these experiences that stretch us and make us think outside of the box. So tonight, I don't want to spend too much time because I do want to get to the top three things. Like I said, there were many, but the top three things that my TEDx experience taught me about growth. So the first thing I want to talk about, right, is why do we hate doing hard things, right? Do you first I want to know, do you hate doing hard things? Like, are you a person like that's like, when it's time to do something that's hard that you know is going to be challenging, are you like, ah, that's how I am. Right? Like right now, I'm changing CRMs and I have to learn a whole new CRM system. And I am dreading it because it took me months to learn the one that I'm currently using. And I'm dreading it. But I had to remind myself, honey, you did it once, you can do it again. But why do we hate doing hard things? So one of the first reasons I came up with is the feeling of uncertainty we feel when it's time to do something really challenging. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. We don't know if we're going to be able to do it well. We don't know if we're going to do it successfully, right? And so it's like those feelings of uncertainty that comes with doing hard things is also that it tests, right? It tests your confidence. It tests your belief in your ability, your belief in yourself. It's a major test. And you're telling yourself, like, okay, I can do this. But you're also struggling with, can I really do this? These are all the things that was coming up or during my TED experience, right? But we experience these things in many areas of our lives, even in our careers, when we are challenged, especially as women in leadership. When we are challenged, there are so many things that are coming up because there are also people looking at us, right? There are people looking at us. And so that all of those things, right? It challenges your intelligence. It challenges your knowledge. And some of us like to believe that we know a whole lot. Realize in just my 40 years of living, soon to be 41, in my 40 years of living, I have learned a lot of things. But the reality is, I don't know everything. And so when a challenge arises, that means I'm going to have to learn something new. I'm going to have to learn a new skill. And sometimes I just don't want to. Sometimes I just want to be able to use the skills I already have. I want to be able to use the knowledge I already have. And while some of those things can contribute to a challenging experience or overcoming a challenging experience, the reality is it is a challenge because you don't have all the knowledge, all the wisdoms, all the tools to accomplish it. So it can feel challenging. And here's the thing, even if you've done it before, right? Let me see. Yes, yes, right? Like, so when I'm doing something hard, I get worried about the people. Exactly. Not the haters, but my supporters. Absolutely, right? Like, we know that people are watching us. And sometimes even our supporters are watching us because their goal is to learn from us, right? We don't want to disappoint them, but we also don't want to steer them in the wrong direction. So we want to get this right, right? We want to get these things right. And so it can be very challenging. And so that goes into the fear of failure, right? Like when we talk about not wanting to disappoint people, there is that fear of failure. Like if I fail at this, sometimes we can internalize that experience as I'm a failure. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do things like this. I can't get this right, right? Here we go with the thumb. Well, clearly it agrees with me, right? But when that feeling is internalized, it can really crush your self-esteem and sense of self-worth. And so we want to avoid those feelings because that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. And it is definitely a feeling that can sometimes that can knock you down. It can knock you down. It can knock you, it can sometimes take you out the game for a little while, right? And then that fear of failure also comes with the fear of humility, right? If we fail and we feel like we've disappointed people and sometimes even disappointing ourselves, there's so much humiliation that can follow. And that humiliation sometimes can make you want to hide or make you not even want to try again. It can make you want to give up because it's while humiliation is a good thing, it really is because you're learning. You can learn from these experiences, decide what these experiences are teaching you about yourself and what you can do differently next time. But sometimes before we can get to that place, before we can get to the place of self reflection and recognizing the lessons and the gifts in every experience, some of us go through the dark space. And we want to avoid that dark space that is there just before we get to the light. Because the reality is, we're human. Yes, we're doing the work. Yes, we're learning about ourselves. We know the importance of affirmations and speaking greatness to yourself, but at the end of the day, we're still human. So we're going to go through dark spaces and have those dark moments. And that's okay, right? I'm going to take a sip of water, y'all. Y'all see, I got the jug. I try not to drink too much when I'm doing the show because I don't want to go to the bathroom. All right. So when we go through these things, and sometimes if you've already been through some challenging experiences where you've experienced failure. You've had the feelings of disappointment. You've had the feelings of humiliations. Then that may also cause you to want to avoid challenges. So, something that comes up and it feels like, oh, this is going to be challenging, you might say, you know what, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pass on that. Right? I think I'm gonna maybe next time. You know what? I've already had some challenges. I don't need any more challenges right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit this one out. But guess what? When we avoid challenges, we experience even more challenges. Ain't that crazy? Right? Like We think that avoiding challenges might create peace in our lives, might help us to just feel happier or feel just more subtle and less worried about things. But when we avoid challenges, we actually create more feelings of negativity and disappointment and humiliation and feelings of failure. And I'm kind of going on because I want to, I made my talking points, but I just be going because once I get started, your girl is started, right? But I just wanted to make a few points around the consequences of avoiding challenges. So I will say one of the first ones, and I'm kind of talking about, is increased anxiety, right? Like increased anxiety. Avoiding challenges can increase your anxiety over time, right? Because the more you avoid them and you don't stop thinking about them, right? You don't stop thinking about the thing that you're avoiding, especially if you have some ambitious goals, some dreams, a passion, something that you've been dreaming of doing. And I've definitely been in this space of really wanting to do something big, but knowing that it's going to require a lot of me mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And I decide, oh, I'm not going to do it right now. I don't stop thinking about it. I don't stop dreaming about it. I don't stop thinking about how I can make it happen. And the more I avoid taking the steps to actualize that vision, the more anxious I get and the more negative thoughts and feelings I experience about myself, right? There comes that inner critic saying, oh, you don't have what it takes. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. Look at you. Everybody's winning but you. Look at, so all of these things come up for you when you avoid challenges. So you really do more harm than good to yourself by avoiding challenges. You also may struggle with self isolation when you avoid challenges because sometimes people will go out, oh yeah, girl, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do this. And then when you don't do it, you feel kind of like humiliated and people are seeing you like, oh, how's that thing going? Oh, I haven't really done anything on that. I haven't really worked on that. And now you don't want to be around people. You don't want to be in winning circles, right? You don't want to be at these incredible networking events, walking in alignment with other boss babes and other leaders because you don't even feel like you can relate to them. You don't even feel like you belong in the same circle as them. So you know what you do? You stay in hiding. And if you can relate to that, I have been there, right? You stay in hiding because now you don't even want to hear about everybody else's winning story because you're not doing half of the things that you have already promised yourself. Forget what you promised the world. Forget what you told others you're going to do. The fact that you made the promise to yourself that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this thing that's going to change my life, right? That's going to bring me more wealth, that's going to improve my mental wellness, my physical wellness, all the things. The fact that you're not even following through on the commitments and the promises you make to yourself makes you want to hide, right? Because you don't even trust yourself, sis. So that is something else that comes with avoiding challenges. The next is living with regret because after a while it can feel like I've been saying I'm gonna do this for years. It's too late now. Like I don't even have the energy to do it. I don't have the resources to do it. I don't have the support. And when I was thinking about doing it, I had all the things I needed. And now I'm in a different time in my life and it just doesn't feel as exciting. But what if I didn't? Imagine if I had did that thing I said I was going to do. What would my life be like right now? What would I have accomplished by right now? Where would I be living? Who would be in my life? Oh, the what ifs. Maybe I should have. Dang, right? Like the regret. And that regret, along with the isolation, along with the increased anxiety, because trust me, you can feel all of these things at the same time, it really can take a toll on your mental health and your overall well being. It can lead to more struggles with anxiety and depression. right? And so these are the things we have to take into consideration when we're trying to avoid challenges. And the last one I want to say is the decrease in your self confidence. The more you make promises to yourself and don't follow through on them, the more your confidence will go down. The more your confidence will be crushed, right? The less you will trust in yourself and your abilities because the messages you're going to be telling yourself is, you ain't going to do it. You can't do it. Yeah, yeah, you said that last time. You can't do it, right? And when you think about being in a relationship with someone, right? So I want think about being in a relationship with someone. And that person always tells you, like, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I could do that. And when it's time, they don't follow through. What do? You stop relying on them. You stop asking them for support. You stop seeking them out because you already know they're not going to show up. Well, when we do that to ourselves, we subconsciously stop asking ourselves to do things. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Drop the mic. That was a mic drop. Ow! Sorry, y'all. I got a little excited. Right? Um, we subconsciously stop trusting and believing in ourselves. So we just stop doing things altogether because we've already made so many promises and not kept them that we don't believe in ourselves to keep any of the promises. So we just stop, right? And so why do that to yourself? Right? Like, why do that to yourself? Why not just show up? Why not just show up? Because the reality is, every step you take is a step towards the goal, no matter how small or big the step is. And with every step, you'll learn more about yourself and learn more about what you need to achieve that bigger goal, right? So why not just take a step, ask for help, whatever it looks like, right? We really play ourselves, to be honest. We play ourselves when we don't show up, but we also play ourselves when we try to take the easy route. We believe, like, okay, you know what? I don't want to do hard things. So let me figure out how I can be successful with easy things. And I will never say that you can't be successful with easy things, but you won't be fulfilled. You won't have that feeling of power, right? That's right. The shoulda, coulda, look, yes, right? That's my girl. My girl be hanging in with me. I love you, sis. Girl, it's me and you in here, right? So is that those shoulda, coulda, wouldas, they will drown you. And guess what? They can send you into a deep depression. And like I was saying, like, we play ourselves by thinking we could take the easy way out. And even when you take the easy way out, you don't stop thinking about the big stuff. Even when you take the easy way out, you don't stop thinking about the big dreams, the vision, the ambitious goals. Those things don't go away because they were placed inside of you for a reason. Your passion, it's your purpose that's calling on you, but you're choosing to follow someone else's passion. You're choosing to follow someone else's purpose because that looks like the easier thing to do. And like, let me tell y'all something. When I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me because I have been there. Okay? I have been there, but I've also suffered the consequences of trying to take the easy way out. Trying to take the easy way out got me depression, got me anxiety, got me frustration. It got me all the things that kept me in dark spaces. And it wasn't until I began doing the hard things that I truly began to love and value myself more. Right. And so I just want to think about that for a minute. So let's switch and talk about what the benefits of tackling challenges head on. We talked about the consequences of avoiding them. So what would you gain? What could you gain if you said, you know what? Yes, and took action. What would you gain? The first thing is expanded skills. Like, we all have a set of skills, all of us. We all have skills, we all have gifts. But taking on challenges develop your skills. And in the process of taking on challenges, you learn new skills. You learn how to do things that you never imagined you would be able to do. You'd be like, dang, I didn't even know I could do that, right? So these are all the things I was feeling as I was going through my TED experience, right? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. When I think about avoiding challenges, I'm gonna keep it 100. One day I told my coach, I'm not doing this. I quit. Tears rolling down my eyes, snot in my nose. I can't do this. I'm not cut out for TED. Maybe it's not my time, right? And my coach was like, okay, pause. You're bugging. Stop for a second. What's going on? What's going through your head? Right. And once she was able to talk to me, I was going to get my mind right and say, okay, get back in the game. But it's a part of the journey. It's a part of the journey. And as I did the work, as I went through the process, I learned how to share my story in a way that I've never shared it before. I developed a new skill set as a speaker. I improved my speaking ability, and now it also let me not go too far because all right, so I improved my speaking skills. I improved my stage presence. I improved in so many ways. And this I improved in ways that people are now asking me, like, hey, can you help me when I'm ready for tech? Right? Because they really valued what I brought to the stage. And so did I. And so you develop your skills. And by tackling these challenges, right, you also open the door to new opportunities. When you develop a new skill, you now have a new skill set that somebody else may be looking for, that someone else needs. Now you can say, yes, I've done that, right? I feel like I know that now that I've done this talk and the way I worked on this talk and delivered this talk, it will open more doors for me, right? It will bust down doors that probably was once locked, right? And so when you think about the benefits is who you become in the process of tackling challenges head on, right? But it also contributes to developing your leadership skills, right? So we're not just talking about those technical skills or those delivery skills, but your leadership skills, right? And so, as leaders, you will always face challenges. That's just a part of the leadership journey. But along when you are facing challenges head on, you can increase your ability to make decisions. You can expand your vision, right? And you increase your ability to motivate and support others because you know what it's like to tackle challenges. And you also know what it's like to experience failure and learn from it. But you also know what it's like to win when you tackle your challenges head on. And as a leader, your team, who will also go through challenging experiences, need to hear from someone who can cheer them on, who can encourage them, who can support them because you've been right where they are time and time and time again. And so they understand that you are a resilient leader and you're helping them to build their resilience because you're not afraid of challenges and you're teaching them how to not be afraid to move forward, right? Next is your boosted self-confidence. And this is something I talked about is the confidence you no, maybe I didn't. The confidence you develop when you go through challenging experiences. It's just like being in the gym, right? You know, the first day you lifting them weights and you're like, but you keep going. You don't give up. You don't give up on being tired and exhausted and out of breath. You keep going and then you get stronger and stronger. And you start looking sexier and sexier. And you start feeling good from the inside out. And now your confidence is so high that you're like, listen, if I could do that, I can do anything. And I will tell you, after completing my TED Talk journey, I'm not just talking about getting on that stage. After completing that journey, I believe that if I can do that, I can do anything. That is trusting yourself to go through, trusting that you will win no matter what. Even if it doesn't turn out the way you hoped it would, you know that I went through. Therefore, I am a winner, period. Lastly, and I like these two together, along with the confidence comes the feeling of fulfillment, right? And so I always love to look at the word fulfillment into a compound word, right? Full and filled, right? I'm full and I'm filled at the same time. When I complete something and I feel like I did that, I accomplished that. I put in the work. I get to glean and the fruits of my labor. I get to talk about it. I get to smile about it. I get to experience so much joy about what I chose to do and how I chose to show up. It is a fulfilling experience compared to avoiding challenges where there is no feeling of fulfillment. And we all want to feel full, right? When we sit down and we eat, we don't want to get up from the table and still feel hungry. And when you avoid challenges and try to take the easy way out, you'll still feel hungry. But tackling challenges head on, going through and keeping the promises you make to yourself will lead to feeling full, right? So now I'm going to get ready to wrap this up. I'm going to get ready to wrap this up, and I want to share the top three lessons that I learned from my TED experience. And like I said, it was really hard to choose just three because there were so many. But I'll start with number three, the value of patience, right? Like I said, I've been through many hard things and felt like my greatest challenges were behind me. But this TED experience taught me the value of being patient with myself, patient with my coaches, patient with my process, because there were times where I just felt like, I just want to be done with this already. Like, this is good enough. This is, but it was like, I had to slow down and reflect and say to myself, listen, in this process, you're becoming. Be patient with the person you're becoming. There were times I just felt like I just wasn't getting it. I wasn't doing it right. I wasn't delivering it right. I wasn't writing it right. And I had to remind myself to be patient, right? All of us want things to happen fast. We want to get in and be done with it quick. And guess what? I saw this in many of my co-speakers that were just like, yeah, I just want to be done. Many of us felt that way. It was a grueling process. But being patient also offers grace on the journey. And so in that patience was me was really taking time to breathe, especially when it came to memorizing my whole talk. Like there were times that I had to pre-record, and I pre-recorded 100 or more times because it just was not hitting. And I was just like, this is crazy, right? But when I began to be more patient with myself, everything fell in place. Next, I want to say is practice makes better. And that was a very valuable lesson for me, for someone who has been a speaker for a long time, for someone who felt like I got this, just easy peasy. No, baby, you got to keep practicing, right? There's a saying that goes, stay ready so that you never have to get ready. I had to keep practicing every single day. And even on my best days, I made some mistakes, right? But the thing is no matter how good you think you are, there's always room for improvement. There's always room for growth. If you believe that, hey, I'm perfect, I don't need any more, then where is there room for you to be poured into? Where is there room for you to be influenced, for you to be inspired, for you to be, coached? There's no room for you to continue to evolve. And you know the saying, if you're not growing, you're dying. For me, I'm a lifelong learner. No matter what I've learned, no matter what skills I develop, I know that there's always room for improvement. And so I will continue to practice my craft, continue to practice my skills so that I can always show up as the better version of me. And I'm not going to say the best version of me, but I will say the better version of me, because there will always be an even better version of the woman I'm becoming. And I can love who I am today and love the woman I'm becoming, right? And I would say the last and most valuable lesson was the importance of self compassion. And I'm not gonna listen. I know self compassion. I know what self compassion can do. And sometimes we like to think like, oh, I'm compassionate. I'm compassionate with myself. I treat myself well, and that's easy to say until that challenge hit. Okay. When that challenge hit and you're being stretched in every direction and you're being attacked and you're tired and you're overwhelmed and you're frustrated and you're just ready to throw the towel in, sometimes it does not feel like self compassion is available. I'm just going to keep it real. On this journey, though, I had to find that self compassion on the days where I felt like I wasn't cut out for this journey, on the days where I felt like I wasn't ready, the days when I felt like I did not have what it took to be a TEDx speaker. And I've had those feelings and those experiences many times in my life, but I'm telling you, since this was different. This was different, right? And so in this experience, I had to be even more intentional about offering myself self compassion. I had to learn how to be not just my best friend, my bestest friend. I had to learn how to hug myself and love on myself and pour into myself and speak words of love and light and wisdom and remind myself of my greatness when it got hard. And that was not easy. But self compassion really got me through this journey. And that was the top thing. The top thing was the self compassion that I was able to offer myself. And if I didn't know how to be compassionate towards myself before, this experience build my skill level, right? And so again, I'm just going to list the top 3 lessons that I learned about growth on my journey to becoming a TEDx speaker. Was first, patience, the value of patience, and being patient with yourself, being patient with your journey, being patient with your growth, being patient with your development, right? And that's also about like trusting the process. Like when you're trusting the process, you're being patient, right? Next is practice makes better. No matter how good you think you are, you got to continue to work on your craft. Continue to work on your skills. Continue to pour into yourself. Continue to prioritize personal and self development, personal and career development, to always be working towards the better version of yourself. And the last piece was offering myself self compassion. You have to know how to talk love and light over yourself in your darkest moments. Just like we would do for anyone else. We would do it for our friends. We would do it for our family members. We will tell them everything's going to be okay. We will tell them that you got this. You can do this. You were built for this. Well, in those dark moments, we have to be able to say those things to ourselves. We have to remind ourselves of who we are in that moment, because we're not those negative thoughts, right, that are coming in, that are flowing in. I will say, I also want to share two revelations along with those top three lessons that I got from that experience. My two revelations is one, is I can be great now and later. Before doing this TED experience, I told myself maybe it's not my time to do a TED experience. Maybe, I could do it later in my life when I've accomplished even greater things and I have an even greater story to tell. These are all the things I was telling myself, right? But what I realized is after doing TEDx and killing it, killing my TEDx speech, giving my all, connecting with my audience both online and in person, changing lives, transforming hearts in that room, I learned that I can be great now and later. Y'all remember the candy, now and later, that we used to kill when we was kids? Yeah, now and later. I can be great now and later. There is no limit to your greatness. There is no limit to what you can do. No matter what your age is, no matter where you are in life, you have to know that you are great right now and you can continue to grow in your greatness. Lastly is, I'm worth hard things. That was another revelation, and it's something that I've always been saying, but this really proved and really reiterated that I am worth hard things. The life that I want, the vision that I have for myself and my family, for my friends, for my community, for the world that I occupy, it's all worth doing the hard things. Manifesting that beautiful life is worth doing hard things. I am worth my vision. I am worth my dreams. I am worth joy. I am worth fulfillment. Therefore, I am worth doing hard things. And so are you. So I want you to know that if you're struggling to embrace challenges, I hope that what I shared here today will really help you to think differently about challenges as they arise. What you can gain from moving forward, what you can gain from tackling those challenges head on, who you will become when you tackle challenges, and how your life will transform when you tackle challenges head on. Thank you all for joining me this evening on the Walk and Power podcast. It has been a blast to share this space with you. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel where this is airing live from. And make sure you like this, leave a comment, and share it with your people. Until next time, folks, walk in power. Peace.